Hello. Welcome back to Behind the Wheel, Uber's podcast made especially for you, the drivers and couriers that keep our cities moving. I am your host, Maria Fernanda Resendiz, and for today's episode, we're welcoming Niti Bashambu. You may remember our chat with Sachin, who talked to us about product management at Uber. Well, Niti is also a key member of our product team. Niti, welcome to Behind the Wheel. How are you today?
I'm good, Mafer. Good to see you.
Niti, please tell us about yourself and what is it that you do at Uber?
Yes, I'm Niti Bashambu. I'm the product lead for the entire earner lifecycle and the earner app that our earners, which is both couriers and drivers, use globally to access the Uber platform. I've been at Uber about 2.5 years, and I'm actually based in our San Francisco office.
All right, so I just want us all to keep in mind that whenever Niti mentions earners, she's referring to all the drivers and couriers who use the Uber platform to make an earning. Is that correct, Niti?
That's right. Yeah, we call our drivers and couriers earners just because that's how we refer to them. And they, as you mentioned, they come to Uber to earn, and so that's our shortcut way of referring to drivers and couriers as a group together.
Perfect. Now, Niti, you have a very important role at Uber. Please tell us the day to day of what you do in this role.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I run the earner product and app for the entire life cycle. And so my main responsibility is growing and retaining our global base of almost 7 million earners to leverage our platform effectively and efficiently. And so my day to day is really in the service of those drivers and couriers. Product management, which is what I do for a profession, is a very interesting role. As a product manager, I often say we are the CEOs of the product. And as the CEOs of a product, we first and foremost have to think and understand the needs of our customers and what they need. In our case, our customers are, of course, drivers and couriers who use our app every day for several hours at a stretch. So my day involves working with members of our teams cross functionally to understand the feedback that we have from our customers and their pain points, and then review the product solutions that we are putting forth to fix these pain points. So a lot of my day involves looking at the product requirements and the designs for future launches that we may do, as well as any data that we have from any experiments or tests that we have been running to see if we have been successful in solving these pain points. I'm also then involved in sharing these plans and data with our leadership teams and spreading that cross functionally, since, as you can imagine, all the parts of our platform and marketplace are connected. So, in a nutshell, my day, a large part of my day is actually being in meetings to have these types of discussions. But I also spend a fair bit of my time reading and reviewing the work that my team does, as well as partner teams do, because anyone who wants to build into the Earner app, such as our Maps team, the Reserve team, airports, the grocery team, and many, many others, have to, that end up touching the earner experience or the earners involves me and my team. And so we end up working very much together cross functionally so that my team can be the steward of the earner experience. So on any given day, in addition to all of the sort of product work that I just mentioned and all the meetings and reviews that we do, we also may be looking at communications that go out to earners. We may negotiate Uber Pro benefits and rewards with our vendors and different partners, review some of our incentive strategy and pricing, and many, many other items. Feedback at the end of the day of all of this is the lifeblood of our work. And so we spend a lot of time also talking to drivers and getting their feedback through user experience sessions, as well as actually going out and driving. I try to make time almost every weekend to do a few trips so that I can really understand the work that our drivers and couriers do every day and try out on new features, see what's working, what's not working firsthand. And not just me, but a lot of people on my teams, as well as our executive teams and cross functionally, our other partner teams also do this. So that's really our very complex day to day function.
Wow, that really sounds like a busy day. So you mentioned Uber Pro, and I have this very quick question. What is your favorite Uber Pro reward?
Yeah, we have so many great rewards that we offer to our drivers and couriers. I would have to say, if I were to pick one, I would pick one that helps me do more work, sort of helps me be more efficient in what I do. So I'll actually pick two. One is the airport queue for drivers. It really helps. Uh, if you are a higher status driver, you can get to the front of the queue. And the second one would be area preferences. You can actually choose to stay within a certain area. And I find that very useful where I live. And as a woman, I like to stay in a certain area. And so I find area preferences to be a great reward for
I
earners.
agree. That is an amazing reward, and there are all ways that we have to say thank you to everyone who chooses the Uber platform. So now, Niti, you've been at Uber for a few years. Tell us about your career prior to Uber. How do you think what you did before applies to your current role at Uber right now?
Yeah, I've been in product management for about 20 years, working mainly on consumer facing products and driving growth through using data. I actually love marketplaces and started my career at a freelance marketplace called guru.com. Then I was at Barry Diller's IAC for about 15 years, which I know seems like a really long time, but it was a very interesting role. And it really helped me, groomed me really for this role because I got to experience a lot of different companies and products in my time there. When I was approached about the Uber job and saw that my role would be the heart of helping earners and really building the earner app, I really couldn't resist applying my skills here. And it has been such an amazing journey and experience so far. You might think that, as a 10-year-old company, we've sort of, done a lot of things already and this job is quote unquote easy. But as I just laid out, there's so much more to do. We are just, I feel like we still have so many interesting problems to solve, so many new things that we are building and innovating on every single day. And the problem set is really interesting with the marketplace effects. Then the sheer complexity and the scale, when you add in all the regional, global nuances, makes it a very, very interesting and cool job. And of course, as I mentioned, I've always been on the consumer side, always been on the human user side of things. And so I find that part of my job where we have to be empathetic and really think about our end user, which in our case, as I said, is the driver and the courier. It really makes our jobs super, super rewarding. So I feel very blessed every day that I get to come to work and work on such interesting problems.
That is fantastic and very fortunate indeed. Niti, I remember seeing you at our Only on Uber event last year, where our CEO Dara Khosrow Shahi and other team members, you included, talked about over 20 features and new products designed to improve the driver and courier experience to make using our app safer, easier, and fairer. Can you tell us more about those announcements, please?
Yeah. So we have this Only on Uber event annually. And this, like you said, last year in late in November, we did it in Los Angeles. And it's really become an annual event that's a great touch point for us, where we can talk to drivers and couriers and announce and showcase some new features that we're launching that will affect their experiences in day to day lives. It's also a great opportunity for us to honor earners in an area that have touched the lives of so many customers by being super active members of our platform. The team really worked hard to put this event together. And like you said, we announced about 20 super impactful, the most sort of, we work on a lot of stuff, but we had to pick and choose what are those 20 things or so that we wanted to talk about at this event. And I'm very proud of all the work that we announced that day, such as recording my ride, audio recording, all the fairness principles that Dara laid out regarding deactivations, which I know is a very important topic for a lot of earners, as well as the practical changes that I talked about, which were on the app, on the experience side, as well as Sachin, who you've spoken to before. It was really a great venue for us to meet earners face to face and see their experience and see their reactions to our products and frankly, I wasn't expecting them to applaud so much, and that to me was the most rewarding thing because we work so hard every day trying to bring these things to life, really talking to owners, thinking about how we should design our products, and to see their faces light up right in front of me, so many of them, and when I was showing them the stuff and they got things right away, that was super rewarding because it just made it all come to life and made it all worth it. So it was a great experience for me, and I know a lot of earners appreciate it as well. In fact, I know you do a lot of work on YouTube. Our YouTube channel, it is the most watched YouTube video right now on our channel. So it's been really great to see that even after the event, a lot of people are engaging with that content.
That must have been a very rewarding event indeed, Niti. So, was there, during this event, was there a specific announcement or new product that you were most excited about? Which one was it and why? You mentioned a few already, but I want to know which one is it that got you most excited?
Yeah, look, I'll be a little selfish and talk about the ones that I spoke about really got me excited, which were to do with the day-to-day experience of the earners. Our drivers spend a lot of time interacting with the offer card and trip radar. And we made some really simple changes. And frankly, I'll be honest with you, Mafar, when I was prepping for that event and thinking about, like I said, choosing which things we would talk about, I thought, I was concerned. Will this be cool enough to talk about? Like, we're just adding an accept button on the offer card. We're changing the map to show pickups and drop-offs more easily. And those were the ones that got a lot of applause. Of course, in addition to the stuff that, around safety and deactivations and fairness, those are huge topics. But I was really shocked and very pleasantly surprised to see our drivers and couriers reacting so positively to simple changes, which really then brought home for me the fact that a change or a experience improvement doesn't have to be massive. You don't have to do big earth-shattering things to improve the experience. We can actually take a simplicity approach and do simple, small things that affect earners that they've been asking for a long time, and those might have a really big impact.
You told us already that you talk to drivers and couriers often. So, what is the most frequent thing you hear from them about their experience driving with the Uber app?
So the most frequent thing I hear about from them are they'd like to understand how to maximize their earnings potential. I think earners, at the heart of it, they come to Uber to earn. They want to make the most of their time and their mileage. And so it is up to us to really help them understand when and where they should go online, and where they should position so that they can make more money. And so we are working hard to improve our guidance and positioning tools to provide earners with better information on when and where to drive. And I think that's where we need to really do a lot of work to improve our tools.
All right, so when you sit with them to talk, or even better, right now that there are thousands of drivers listening, what is one thing you would like them to know about Uber?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'd like drivers to know is we truly are working really hard to improve their experience and improve their earnings outcomes. There are thousands and thousands of employees at Uber who are working tirelessly to improve their experience as well as their earning outcomes. If they win, if our earners win, we win. And we believe that. And so that's what I want earners to really understand about Uber is we understand the value that they bring to our platform, and we are doing everything we can to improve both of their access as well as their earnings potential and their experience on the app.
Okay, okay, so it's super clear now that you're super focused on the driver and courier experience. So, what are your top three priorities in relation to them?
Number one, my team works really hard to make sure that the app is simple, intuitive, and performant. We want to improve the experience, make things easier to find, make it easier to work on the app, so that it's very simple. It's almost delightful, if you may say. Second, we really need to improve the earnings outcomes for earners and help them better understand their earnings, because I think we could do a better job of improving the comprehension of how much money they are making on Uber and how they could improve further. Thirdly, I really want to improve the safety on the app. Again, as a woman earner, I think safety is paramount. Even for men, it is, but especially for women. it is a consideration as I'm getting out and driving. Where am I going to drive? Who am I going to pick up, etc. So the new features, for example, that we launched also on Uber, the Only on Uber event, like rider verified, record my ride, audio recording, all of these give me the peace of mind. So to me, all those three are the top three priorities for us, for earners: making the app simple, improving earnings outcomes, and improving the safety.
Amazing. No doubt safety is a priority for all at Uber. Now, Niti, we've talked about what you do at Uber, what you did before Uber. We talked about some of our most recent launches, but I want to know, looking forward, can you give us a 2024 sneak peek?
Yeah, I actually talked a little bit about it on the Only on Uber event. I'm really proud of the work the team is doing on CarPlay and Android Auto. So, the sneak peek that I'd love to tell you about is we are very close to launching our Android Auto app, which will allow earners to use the big screens in their cars that are now coming up more and more. They can go online, they can accept and decline trips from their larger screen and get the turn by turn navigation. We have already seen many safety improvements because of this on CarPlay, for example. We've also seen that earners really love to interact with that larger screen, and it has really improved not just the earner's experience, but also the passenger's experience because they can see where they are going. And so I'm very excited that in 2024, very soon, that we will be launching Android Auto as well. And I we end up thinking and talking a lot about the things that you can touch and feel, but I also want to give kudos to our engineering teams that are working very, very hard on changes that you may not see with your naked eye: changes to battery life, changes to our network uptimes, the audio improvements, things that you don't touch and feel and see, but that are happening that will improve the experience of the app and the uptime and the performance of the app every day. As our app has grown and become more and more complex, the same app, you can do driving, you can deliver, you can now do grocery shopping, deliver from pharmacies, deliver an Apple computer, so on, so on, so on. There's so much we can do on the app. Our app has gotten really big. And so it's really important that we continue to make these improvements that, again, a driver or courier may not touch and feel, but we are working very hard on improving these on the back end so that our app doesn't feel big and bloated and takes up all your battery.
You are so right. There are so many changes we don't get to see or touch, but they are so important. Like you mentioned, there are small changes that can make a big difference. And I'm sure those changes are perfect examples of that situation. Last two questions, Niti. What's your
Mhm.
favorite driver experience you've had or heard about?
Yeah, I have had so many conversations with drivers, even before I joined Uber, actually. I'm a very talkative person, as you can see. I like to have conversations with people, and often I've had conversations. But I think the most memorable conversation, if you can call it that, is actually I was in New Orleans and I was traveling to the airport, and there was a great song. I think it was a Boys to Men song that came on the radio, and my driver had just a fantastic voice, and he was singing along with the radio, and I also like to sing. And so I started singing with him, and we sang a duet together in the car. It was the most organic, just a very memorable, very beautiful trip that we had, and we really enjoyed the music together. And it was lovely, and I never thought that I would be, at that time, I didn't even work for Uber. And I just always will remember that Uber trip because it was one of my most memorable, and I still think of that driver every time. And every time I listen to Boys to Men,
That's great. It sounds like a very, very unique experience. Final question,
it was.
Niti. In all honesty, what do you think Uber could be doing better or differently for drivers and couriers?
Yeah, as the best platform for flexible, independent workers globally, we need to provide earners free and ready access to the highest earnings outcomes, and we need to continually do better. What sets us apart is that we are the only platform in the world that allows you to work on both rideshare and delivery. And within delivery, it's not just restaurant delivery, it's groceries, it's pharmacy, it's all the things, that you can now go and get. And I think we can do more to educate earners about how we can enable them to turn on more gigs to really maximize their earnings potential. I also think we could do a better job when it comes to our early life cycle earners, which are, just starting off on the platform. I know when I first started as a driver, it was intimidating, right? And as I mentioned, like safety is always paramount. I was a little scared. But I know when I first started earning as a driver, it was a bit scary. I didn't know exactly what to do. So I really want us to put a lot of effort into improving how we go about starting a new earner on the platform so that they don't feel as intimidated as I did.
Niti, this is all amazing and inspiring. Thank you so much for this conversation. It's been a pleasure talking with you. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. Thank you for joining us. Happy 2024 and see you all next time.